Howdy, I'm John Richmond, and I'm the inventor of the Sluice Goose Industries GOLDROP, gold and pay dirt separating processor. Today's video will be pretty much a complete how to set up and how to use the GOLDROP. This is how we set up a 2-barrel system using two 55-gallon barrels. This barrel here will be the pump barrel, and this barrel here will be our tailings barrel. In order to modify the pump barrel, if you're using plastic barrels, you need to cut away a section at the top of the drum to eliminate this misformed edge here to allow the GOLDROP to hang straight on the side of the barrel, so that when you cut your notch, you can put the GOLDROP into the base like that. And then there's a gap here in the front, so if you tighten up the GOLDROP right now, it'll pull it back and be out of a vertical position. So I add that's a 12mm bolt, stick it in the gap there, so that when you tighten the thumb screw to the barrel to hold it securely in place, that it stays vertical and totally secure. This is the tailings bucket support frame. It mounts on the tailings barrel by hooking onto the edge with these 3 fingers, hanging on the barrel like that. Then the 10-quart or 10-liter bucket sits in the frame like that. Now, the frame has these zip ties that are supporting the fingers on the barrel. They are loose right now, so that what you want to do is to adjust the height of the bucket to be 1 inch below or 25 millimeters below the level of the barrel. That way you're resting the magnet sluice on this edge and overhanging the tailings bucket. This is the magnet sluice that attaches to the GOLDROP by sliding the fittings together and hanging the sluice, letting it to rest on the barrel. Now we will put in our 10-quart or 10-liter tailings bucket into the frame, and then adjust our tailings barrel to where the sluice overhangs the bucket to catch all the tailings as it's coming off the magnet sluice. Now we're ready to fill the barrels with water. Now that we have the barrels filled with water, we want to interconnect the 2 barrels together so that we can create the recirculating system. In order to do that, this is our siphon hose with the rubber plug on the end. You take the open end of the siphon hose and submerge it into the pump barrel. When the hose is completely submerged, now you're going to put the plug in the end of the hose, trapping that water in the hose. Now you can lift the end of the hose out with the plug and then submerge it in the other barrel, remove the plug, and now we have a connection of siphon water between these 2 barrels. As the tailings water fills up in the tailings barrel and drains in the pump barrel, gravity says the 2 barrels need to be the same level, so the water transfers over here to the pump barrel in order to keep them equal in depth. This pump is a 12-volt, 36-watt bilge pump. It pumps 1,100 gallons per hour or 4,400 liters per hour. It is powered by this 12-volt battery. This battery is charged by that 100-watt solar panel. Because the pump only consumes 36 watts, 100-watt panel will keep that battery fully charged as long as the sunshine is out, which gives you the advantage to run at night too. because this battery will have lots of storage until the next morning when the sun comes out and then is charged again by the solar panel. So to hook up the battery cable leads to run the pump on the 12-volt battery, these are the leads here. This is the plug-in, and it plugs in to the pump, so only can go one way. So push it together and snap it together. Now you can submerge the pump in the water to start the operation. And now you can go ahead and connect the pump to the battery. Now the pump is energized. Now you can open the valve or open all of the valves to get the water moving and to force out any air that's accumulated in the system, as well as turn on the funnel water too. So everything looks like it's just flowing very nicely. You can actually see the water pouring out of the GOLDROP and then running down the sluice and into the tailings bucket. Place the slick plate into the funnel, sitting on top of that little gray knob there. That supports the end of the slick plate so that it will not fall down on top of the funnel. Now that we have the GOLDROP up and running, put the dam in the Magnet Sluice, and then put on the magnetite on the mat, starting at the top, and let it run down. I'll actually turn up the water flow a little more. That'll help distribute the magnetite down to the dam and just get a layer according to what the water flow establishes. So just keep on filling down to the dam. And now we're ready to operate the GOLDROP. These are the valves that control the action in the GOLDROP. This bottom valve here enters into the bottom of the drop. This is the drop tube here. So we now have, with this valve open, water flowing in and flowing up into the trap, supporting the dirt up in the trap. This valve here is a mixing valve that allows you to increase the flow to get more disturbance going on inside the trap, or turn it down and get less disturbance in the trap. This valve here, the drop water valve, is connected to the water meter on the GOLDROP. This is the meter here, generally set at 0.5 gallons per minute to start. So you close the valve and the water will go down, open the valve and the water will go up. So this is where I start, 0.5 gallons per minute, or almost 2 liters per minute of the water traveling vertically up. So now we'll go ahead and focus in on the trap, because this is where we're going to determine really where the water level is set. So now we'll turn on the funnel water and wash in a little bit of the pay dirt into the trap. So I'm turning on the water in the funnel, opening the valve, not even halfway, just a little trickle. And then putting some of this wet pay dirt into the funnel, allowing the dirt to drop down in the trap. So you can see the dirt is moving rather slowly, so I'm going to increase the water flow into the trap on the mixing valve. And it's coming down to about halfway. Now I'm getting things to move around. You can see things moving around and we're moving down. So now I'm going to set the drop water, this vertical flow, I'm going to turn it down in order to get the dirt to drop into the tube here, the drop tube. Now you can already see gold is trying to find its way out. So I'll just kind of keep dropping it down till the dirt is about, oh, maybe halfway down inside the drop tube. And this is our setting, which is now set at 0.25 gallons a minute, or 1 liter per minute. So this is the setting. You set it and you forget it. So now we'll start processing this dirt in order to extract the gold. So now I will wash the dirt through and watch the gold drop. You can see some of the bigger rocks are dropping in also, but don't worry about it because those are easy to remove. So just let them fall in because the gold will fall in the jar too. If you want to turn the water up a little bit, you can. So let's just do that just for the heck of it. Okay, there's 0.3 gallons per minute, which is about just a little less than 1.5 liters per minute. So this is the action inside the drop tube, and then in the trap. Get it on this side. You can see the material is being moved around and then vertically flowing and just kind of being tossed around. And then it actually drops back down over here to come back through to be exposed to the drop. So everything that's in the trap is cycled through before being discharged through and then down the Magnet Sluice. And into the tailings bucket. To feed the ore into the funnel, turn on the water in the funnel. This washes the pay dirt down into the gold drop. So when you scoop your dirt, be sure it's nice and wet. That way it allows that water flow to wash the ore down into the trap without any problems whatsoever. The ore needs to be classified 1/8 inch or 3 millimeter prior to putting it in the funnel. This way you're avoiding any possible plugs in the drop tube from material that is too big. The slick plate allows the dirt to wash off and down into the funnel without dropping directly onto the funnel opening, which would be basically plugging up what would be the orifice on the funnel itself. So washing it past the funnel prior to dumping it on the funnel is the way this feeds. I also have the water scoop, which if you wish to scoop it this way, then you can scoop the dirt. I'll give you a little demonstration. And then just wash it off down to the funnel. If you choose this option, turn off this water here, because the water coming through the scoop is plenty of water to do the flush job. When you're done feeding ore into the funnel, now you can take your empty bucket and use the water nozzle to clean out any remaining ore that's left in your bucket. And then also clean the funnel, wash all the material down into the trap. Turn off the water, and now the funnel is clean. In order to clean out the gold drop, turn up the water in the drop tube here and push all this gravel up into the trap. There's 0.5 gallons per minute or 2 liters per minute, which does an adequate job of keeping all of that 1/8 inch 3 millimeter material up into the trap. Close the gate valve and then unscrew the jar and then set that aside, and we'll take a look at that. And then open the gate valve and drain out the trap into a bucket. Now go ahead and open up all the valves to flush out any of the debris that collected in there, and then close them off. And then that thoroughly empties the gold drop. So we have 3 cleanups. We have what was in the jar, and then what is in the bucket from in the trap, because all the gold does not drop out. You still need to extract the gold out of what material was there. And then we empty the magnet sluice and extract the gold and the flour and whatever ore might have been captured in the magnetite. To empty the magnet sluice, place a pan on top of the tailings bucket, turn on the water, get some water flowing through, close the gate valve in order to seal it up. There we go. So you don't need much water flow, just something to help you scrape out what's in the sluice. So remove the dam, then wash it off in the pan. Then place that in the funnel just as a safe place to keep it. Take the scraper and scrape out all of the dirt and the magnetite in the magnet sluice into the pan. Give it a really good hard scraping. The magnetite really likes to hang on to that magnet. And that's how I empty the magnet sluice. Well, I'll do a little better job of cleaning that up, but I'll just kind of give you a quick view of the gold that was recovered with the big mineral. So there you can see all the gold that was recovered in the jar with the bigger mineral down on this end. So now we'll clean up what was in the trap, and I'll just do that myself. I'll clean out what was there and show you that gold. Now I'll remove the magnetite with the SpinItOff so that I can pan what's left of the mineral that the magnetite caught as it was exiting towards the tailings. So to spin it off, just pick that magnetite right out of the mineral there, just to have it submerged like it is now. That way, then the magnetite is cleaned as it is pulled out. Just pull the shank back, and the magnets hide behind this hilt here inside this tube, and that allows the magnetite to drop off. And when you then slide the magnets back in the front of the tube, then you can see the magnetism picking up the magnetite. So what we have left is all the non-magnetic material that the magnetite trapped on its way to the tailings bucket. And that's the mineral that was trapped in the magnetite. Now we'll clean out the debris that was in the magnet sluice and see what we got. So we'll submerge this down, shake it around, get the gold good and fluidized and sit down to the bottom. Then just very gently, with vibrations, run the overburden over the back of the gold claw pan with those big riffles. If any gold spills over, it'll be caught by those big riffles. So now just kind of shake the pan till it comes vertical, and now you can submerge the pan, shake off the riffles in the back so the material falls right back into the pan, and now you can start working off from the front. So now you fluidize again, get all the gold down to the bottom, and then very slowly just pour off the mineral in the front. This tiny gold isn't going to make it across those big riffles, so no worries. So now when you do a little bit, then go ahead and shake it all back. Get it back down to the bottom there, and then continue pouring off the mineral. Okay, now I'll show you the flour gold. Well, let me just wash it down into the pan here. Kind of clean it a little bit. So to clean it, what I do is I use the water and gather it all down into the corner of the pan, and then very gently come forward and kind of shake it a little bit, and that brings all the mineral forward. So now I just very gently, with a wave action, back and forth, and pull away the mineral from the gold. Well, anyway, and then you can see, well, I'll just show you what's up. There is the flour gold that was captured in the Magnet Sluice. All of this gold is more than likely not recoverable using mercury. So there you have it. That's kind of how I use, not kind of, that's exactly how I use the GOLDROP and the SpinItOff and the Magnet Sluice and the Gold Claw pan to get the gold. Let's see if I can come up on and give you a good close-up of this flour. Anyway, so there you have it. That's how I use the GOLDROP. Here's a final look at the gold that was recovered out of that pay dirt with the GOLDROP. This is the gold that was in the jar, and you can see there's some pretty tiny little specks in there. And this is the gold that was still left in the trap. Obviously it's much smaller, but was too small to fall into the trap or into the jar, but too big to be washed out of the trap into the Magnet Sluice. So now, and then again, this is the flour gold that was captured in the Magnet Sluice. Very, very small stuff. I don't know what size mesh this is, but I believe that mercury cannot recover this size gold. Well, thanks for watching, and thanks for being interested.